Welcome to Eventide Theory, a sanctuary for the curious mind, and a harbor for the tired thought. This is where we explore the gentle mechanics of sleep, the hidden rhythms of the brain, and the quiet systems that sustain you. We wander through calm landscapes of science, through the architecture of night, and the deep time of stars. There is nothing to solve here. Nothing to hold on to. Simply allow your breath to find its own depth. Let your awareness soften at the edges. You are welcome here. And tonight, we begin with something that is always happening. Even when you are not paying attention to it. Even when the world feels still. Even when your thoughts begin to loosen their grip. Sleep. Not as a switch that turns you off, but as a quiet state of restoration. One that unfolds slowly, patiently, without asking anything from you. You may notice that when sleep approaches, the body does not rush. The breath becomes a little deeper. The muscles release what they have been holding. And the mind begins to drift. Not toward nothing, but toward balance. There is no single moment where sleep suddenly begins. Instead, it arrives the way evening light fades. Gradually. Almost politely. Layer by layer. As this happens, your brain is already at work. During the day, your brain is busy responding, deciding, adjusting, and predicting. Neurons fire in rapid patterns. Networks communicate constantly. And the mind carries more information than it can neatly organize. There is no single moment where sleep suddenly begins. Instead, it arrives the way evening light fades. Gradually. Almost politely. Layer by layer. As this happens, your brain is already at work. During the day, your brain is busy responding, deciding, adjusting, and predicting. Neurons fire in rapid patterns. Networks communicate constantly. And the mind carries more information than it can neatly organize. One of the first things sleep quietly does is create space. During waking hours, brain cells sit close together. Efficient but crowded. At night, they subtly relax away from one another, opening microscopic pathways. And through these pathways, fluid begins to move. This gentle circulation washes through brain tissue, carrying away byproducts of the day. Metabolic leftovers. Tiny fragments of activity that no longer serve a purpose. You do not feel this happening. There is no sensation. No signal. No demand for attention. It simply happens. Because the brain knows how to care for itself. When given the right conditions. As this cleansing rhythm continues, memory begins to settle. Not all memories are kept. Some fade softly, making room for others that matter more. Important patterns are reinforced. Connections that were tentative during the day become more stable, more reliable. Learning is not something that only happens while you are awake. Much of it completes itself here. In this quieter state. When the mind is free from urgency. You may notice that sleep does not feel empty. It feels full in a different way. While the brain is organizing and restoring, the body is also shifting into repair. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure eases. Energy that was spent outward is redirected inward. Cells begin their maintenance cycles. Proteins are assembled. Tissues repair small stresses accumulated through movement. Through posture. Through simply being alive. Hormones that support growth. Immune balance. And cellular renewal. Are released most efficiently now. In darkness. In stillness. There is no instruction required. No effort. The body remembers how to do this. Even if the mind has forgotten. Breathing becomes a guide. Steady and automatic. Creating a rhythm that the nervous system follows without resistance. As the night deepens, and the outer world grows still, something gentle and remarkable continues within you. Sleep is not a pause in living. It is a quiet form of work. A kind of maintenance that happens without effort, without instruction, and without urgency. As your breathing slows, your brain begins to change its rhythm. The fast, alert patterns of daytime thinking soften. They stretch out, becoming wider, slower, more spacious. Thoughts lose their sharp edges, they drift rather than collide. You may notice how this feels. A sense of mental distance. As if worries step a little farther away. As if the mind no longer needs to hold everything at once. During these slower rhythms, the brain begins its nightly renewal. Between your brain cells, there is a delicate network of fluid-filled pathways. During the day, these spaces are narrow, busy, crowded with activity. But at night, as sleep deepens, they gently expand. This expansion allows fluid to move more freely. It washes through the brain like a slow tide. Carrying away byproducts of waking thought. Tiny fragments left behind by learning, emotion, and attention. There is no sensation of this happening. No signal to notice. It simply unfolds, quietly, patiently. As if the brain knows exactly what to release. You do not need to guide it. There is no need to hurry. While this gentle cleansing continues, another process begins alongside it. Memories, formed during the day, are carefully revisited. Not replayed in full detail. But softened, organized, and stored. Experiences that matter are strengthened. Connections that felt confusing begin to make more sense. Emotions linked to memories lose some of their intensity. Becoming easier to carry. This is why problems sometimes feel different in the morning. Not necessarily solved. But less heavy. Less sharp. More manageable. Your brain is not erasing the day. It is shaping it into something lighter. As this internal work continues, your body joins in its own quiet restoration. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure eases downward. Muscles release what they've been holding. Cells across your body begin small acts of repair. Microscopic damage is addressed. Proteins are rebuilt. Immune signals are refined. Nothing dramatic happens all at once. It is a series of tiny corrections. Each one subtle. Each one meaningful. You may notice how comforting this idea feels. That even now, without conscious effort, your body knows how to care for itself. Hormones shift during sleep as well. The stress signals of daytime gradually fade. In their place, growth and repair signals rise gently. This balance helps regulate mood, appetite, and energy. It supports resilience. It makes waking life feel steadier. More grounded. And through all of this, your awareness is allowed to soften. You are not required to observe. You are not asked to participate. There is nothing to optimize. Sleep does not demand perfection. It only asks for permission. As the night moves on, cycles of sleep ebb and flow. Lighter phases drift into deeper ones. Then back again. Like slow waves along a quiet shore. Each cycle offers something slightly different. One supports memory. Another favors physical repair. Another simply allows rest to deepen. There is wisdom in this rhythm. A sense that nothing is rushed. And nothing is forgotten. If your mind drifts as you listen, that is part of the process too. If thoughts wander and fade, that is not interruption. It is alignment. You may notice moments where words feel farther away. Where meaning becomes less important than tone. Where the sound of the voice matters more than the content. This is a natural transition. A sign that the mind is loosening its grip. Sleep repairs not by force, but by invitation. It restores not by fixing everything, but by allowing what no longer serves to dissolve. And as this continues, there is a quiet reassurance beneath it all. That you are supported by processes older than thought. Older than language. Older than effort. They have carried you through countless nights before. They know the way. There is no finish line here. No final task to complete. Only a gradual easing. A gentle narrowing of attention. A softening into rest. And if awareness drifts away entirely, that is perfectly fine. The night will continue its work. Patient and kind. Long after the words fall silent. As the night continues, the body keeps working in ways that feel almost invisible. Nothing dramatic happens. No switches flip loudly. No alarms go off. Instead, there is a quiet collaboration between systems that have learned, over millions of years, how to care for you while you rest. Your breathing finds a slower rhythm, not because it is instructed to, but because it no longer needs to hurry. Each breath gently signals safety. And safety allows repair. Inside the brain, activity does not disappear. It simply changes its shape. The fast, scattered patterns of the day begin to soften. Neural conversations slow down, stretch out, and become more coordinated. This slower rhythm creates space, space for maintenance, space for organization, space for renewal. You may notice that thoughts feel farther apart now. Not gone. Just less demanding. And in those spaces between thoughts, the brain begins one of its most important nighttime tasks. Throughout the day, every thought, memory, and sensation leaves behind tiny traces. Byproducts of activity. Fragments of information. Molecules that no longer serve a purpose. While you are awake, these traces accumulate quietly in the background. They don't cause problems right away. But over time, they create noise. Sleep is when that noise is gently cleared. A fluid begins to circulate more freely through the brain. It moves slowly, deliberately, like a calm tide passing through narrow channels. As it flows, it collects what is no longer needed. Leftover proteins. Spent chemicals. Fragments from busy hours. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. The brain simply takes advantage of the stillness. You may not feel this happening. Most people never do. But that doesn't make it any less real. This nightly clearing is one of the reasons sleep feels mentally refreshing. Not because new energy is added, but because unnecessary weight is removed. As this process continues, memory also begins to shift. Important experiences from the day are gently reviewed. Not replayed vividly, but reorganized quietly. Connections that matter are strengthened. Details that don't serve a purpose are allowed to fade. It's a kind of sorting. A calm, patient decision-making process that happens without conscious effort. Some memories settle into long-term storage. Others dissolve naturally, making room for tomorrow. There is no judgment involved. Only usefulness. As this mental housekeeping continues, the body joins in. Muscles that work throughout the day begin to release their tension. Microscopic repairs take place inside muscle fibers. Tiny tears caused by movement and effort are gently mended. This is not a dramatic rebuilding. It's subtle. Incremental. But deeply effective over time. Hormones also shift during sleep. Stress-related chemicals gradually decrease. Repair-oriented hormones quietly increase. The balance moves away from alertness and toward restoration. This hormonal environment allows tissues to heal more efficiently. Skin cells renew themselves. Immune cells communicate more clearly. Inflammation softens. Even the heart benefits from this slower pace. Blood pressure gently lowers. Heart rate becomes more regular. The cardiovascular system takes advantage of the calm to recover from the demands of the day. There is no command telling it to do so. It simply responds to the conditions sleep provides. As minutes pass, the body cycles through different depths of rest. Some phases are lighter. Others are deeper. Each phase has its own purpose. Each contributes in a slightly different way to the overall process of repair. In deeper stages, the brain's electrical patterns become slower and more synchronized. These waves move steadily, like rolling hills rather than sharp peaks. This synchronization allows distant regions of the brain to communicate more effectively. Information travels calmly. Integration happens quietly. It's during these deeper phases that physical restoration becomes especially active. Growth hormone reaches its highest levels. Cells receive signals to repair and replace. Energy is redirected toward healing rather than action. And still, nothing about this feels urgent. The body has done this before. Night after night. Year after year. It knows the timing. As sleep continues, the boundary between inner and outer awareness softens. External sounds may still exist, but they feel farther away now. Less relevant. Internal sensations become more subtle. Breathing. Warmth. Gentle heaviness. You may notice moments where time feels unclear. Where thoughts lose their edges. This is not something to focus on. It's simply a sign that the mind is loosening its grip. The brain's emotional centers also benefit from this nightly rhythm. Experiences that carried emotional weight during the day are gently reprocessed. The sharpness softens. The intensity decreases. This is one reason sleep helps regulate mood. Not by erasing experiences, but by changing how tightly they are held. What felt overwhelming earlier may feel more manageable tomorrow. Not because circumstances changed, but because the nervous system had time to recalibrate. Throughout all of this, the immune system remains quietly attentive. Cells responsible for identifying and responding to threats become more active during sleep. They move through the body with greater efficiency. Communication between immune cells improves. This nightly boost helps maintain long-term health. It supports resilience. It prepares the body for future challenges without drawing attention to itself. As the hours pass, the balance between deep and lighter sleep shifts naturally. Toward morning, sleep becomes gentler. Dreams may become more vivid. Awareness may drift closer to the surface. Even in these lighter phases, repair continues. The final rounds of memory integration take place. Emotional processing completes its cycle. Hormone levels begin to adjust in preparation for waking. Still, there is no need to think about what comes next. For now, the only thing that matters is the ongoing rhythm. Breath after breath. Cycle after cycle. Sleep does not demand effort. It responds to permission. And that permission is already present. There is nothing you need to monitor. Nothing to improve. Nothing to achieve. The body understands its role. The brain understands its timing. All of this happens quietly. Reliably. Night after night. And as the narration continues, it can simply mirror that same steadiness. A calm flow of words. Even pacing. Soft emphasis. No destination required. Just the gentle assurance that, beneath awareness, care is being taken. That repair is underway. That rest is not passive. It is deeply active, even when it feels still. And as this understanding settles in, it no longer needs to stay fully formed. It can soften into the background. Like a distant thought. Like a slow wave. There is no need to hurry. The night is doing its work. As these ideas continue to settle, they don't need to be held anymore. They can rest quietly. Like a thought that has finished its work. Your body already understands what to do. Every breath moves on its own. Every system knows its rhythm. Cells repair. Signals soften. The mind loosens its grip. Not by effort. But by ease. You may notice how awareness begins to widen. Then gently blur at the edges. Details becoming less important. Sensations growing simpler. Quieter. Nothing needs to be remembered. Nothing needs to be followed. The night carries these processes forward. Patiently. Without interruption. And as the moments continue to pass, the space between thoughts grows longer. More comfortable. More familiar. It feels natural to drift here. Natural to let go. Natural to allow rest to deepen. In its own unhurried way. There is no need to hurry. The night is doing its work.